Thank you, Chairman Huffman, Ranking Member McClintock, and members of the subcommittee for the invitation to speak before you today. My name is Jennifer Dianto Kemmerly. I'm the Director of Global Fisheries and Aquaculture at Monterey Bay Aquarium. For more than 20 years, our Seafood Watch program has worked to build a market demand for environmentally responsible seafood to help advance domestic and global efforts in support of sustainable fisheries and aquaculture. Our science-based assessments on the sustainability of fisheries guide responsible procurement by U.S. retailers and food service companies, which in turn play an important role in incentivizing seafood producers to improve harvest practices and to advocate for effective management of the resource. Why do sustainable fisheries matter? Over 3 billion people worldwide rely on fish as their primary source of protein, and over 40 million jobs around the world also rely on a robust fisheries sector. Today, the leading U.S. retailers and food service companies have made very time-bound, public-facing commitments to sustainable seafood sourcing, and they're motivated largely by concerns with the availability of the future supply. Given the significant role of fisheries in contributing to food security and economic stability, it's important to understand the status of that supply and the activities that can negatively impact their long-term viability. According to the FAO, 33% of global fish stocks are fished at an unsustainable level, and approximately 60% of stocks are at capacity, meaning they cannot sustain additional pressure to meet the growing global demand for seafood. Concerns about stock status are exacerbated by the persistence of IUU fishing, as we've heard from my fellow witnesses today. This undermines national and regional efforts for effective management. And importantly, when we look at the term sustainability, we are looking at 4 things, not just stock health, but also the impacts of the fishery on other species, the impacts of the fishery on the surrounding ecosystem, and the effectiveness of management. So let's see how global fishery production is faring against these basic tenets of sustainability. Of the fisheries that Seafood Watch has assessed, only 1% of global production is green rated, which means these fisheries have performed well against all those sustainability criteria I just mentioned. Monterey Bay Aquarium encourages our broad consumer and business audiences to preferentially source from these fisheries. 4% are yellow rated, indicating some improvements are warranted to achieve sustainability. An additional 13% are eco-certified by the Marine Stewardship Council, whose standard we recognize is comparable to that of Seafood Watch. 5% of global fisheries are red rated, indicating significant need for improvement. Importantly, the sustainability status of 60% of global fish production is largely unknown, but what we do know is it's largely coming from regions with weak governance. Here's the good news. The picture can drastically improve with strong science-based management. This is a snapshot of U.S. fisheries performance. And I think it really reinforces a lot of the points that we've heard today in the opening remarks. U.S. fisheries perform very well, mainly because stock status and management effectiveness are particularly strong. This sets the U.S. apart from most foreign fisheries. In fact, Seafood Watch recommends 91% of U.S. fishery production by volume for our discerning consumer and business audiences. Implementation of the Magnuson-Stevens Act has been key to the success of U.S. fisheries sustainability. We've identified several recommendations that we believe can help the U.S. maintain this competitive advantage and its role as the global leader in sustainable fisheries management. We ask that the United States maintain the core conservation provisions of the Magnuson-Stevens Act, including science-based management, prevention of overfishing, and the rebuilding of overfished stocks. We ask for the support of investments in research, monitoring, technology, and innovation to guide management decisions. We ask, and this one I feel is very important based on some of the conversation I feel we're going to have in a moment, that we work with fishing communities to build critical infrastructure, supply chains, value chains, and domestic marketing opportunities. We ask that we incorporate ecosystem-based approaches to management to fully realize sustainability. We ask for the increased transparency and traceability of imported seafood products through full implementation of the Seafood Import Monitoring Program, a point that's been raised by, I believe, most of our fellow witnesses here today, and expand the program to include all seafood products. We asked for increased government oversight by NOAA, the State Department, and other agencies to ensure our markets are supporting safe labor practices and social responsibility. We ask for enhanced enforcement capacity to address IUU fishing at sea and the imports of illegal product at our borders. The United States must continue to be a global leader for science-based, environmentally sustainable fisheries management. Working together, the public and private sectors can continue to strengthen U.S. fisheries and leverage our purchasing power to bring global fisheries up to these standards. The Aquarium stands ready to work with Congress and this subcommittee to support solutions that ensure the long-term health of our oceans fisheries in U.S. waters and beyond. Thank you for the consideration of these remarks.
Thank you very much. I want to thank all the witnesses.